Joining us is Judge Dan Wyde, a former prosecutor who is now in private practice. Judge, your reaction when you heard the sentence was 99 years.
Well, I thought it was obviously a very strong, a very stiff sentence, and it made me take a second look at what the facts and circumstances of the case were.
What was the judge saying with that 99 years?
Well, I think he's giving you a little bit of a tell, giving the public a little bit of a tell when he said that the defendant had beat the child within or to the edge of death. Had the child, in fact, died, the mother could have been charged with a capital murder charge, and if found guilty of capital murder, she would have received an automatic life sentence without any chance of parole.
Some people, everybody was just so outraged, but some people were saying they felt it should have been life.
Well, these cases draw the most stringent of emotions because of the true innocent nature of the victim, for example, a 2-year-old child, if you will, as well as the fact that most of the time in these cases, you have a very young parent who really just doesn't have the skills to deal with children, and unfortunately, these incidences, these crimes occur, and you get the emotional reaction from the defendant's family as well as the prosecutors and all those who are there advocating on behalf of the victim.
The situation for this little girl, for Jocelyn, was simply horrific. She was beaten, she was kicked, she was whipped, she had patches of her hair pulled out, and then on top of all of that, the mother takes her hands, puts glue on them, and glues her to the wall. And that has just horrified and angered people and just absolutely made them furious. If that had been a jury, what do you think the sentence would have been?
Well, I think in this case, the defense counsel did what she thought was clearly in the best interest of the defendant to seek the least sentence possible. I believe a jury would have given the mother life in prison because of the truly heinous aspects and the nature of the damages of the child, the injuries to the child. But you have to remember that Judge Mitchell, who is an extremely fine and well-respected jurist, and he's been practicing law and been on the bench now for probably close to 40 years, he has the ability to see this case in the context of all the other cases throughout his career. A jury is only going to hear the facts of this one case. They have no way to more or less put it in context with any other cases. So I believe a jury would have probably given the defendant life in prison.
We've got sound from Aaron Price, the prosecutor, who had an eviscerating cross-examination. Let's listen to part of it.
Monsters belong in prison, right?
Yes, sir.
Monsters who bite their babies.
I don't know. I don't recall biting her.
Monsters who superglue their babies' hands to the wall.
Yes, sir.
Monsters who torture their children deserve to rot in the prison. Don't you think, Ms. Escalona?
Yes.
Because of that inability to trust.
And then the word monster, we see there superimposed over Escalona's head, and the word liar was also put there. Price branded her in court, dramatic and unusual. Talk about that strategy, and would that have had an impact on the judge?
I don't think so as far as the impact on Judge Mitchell. He's, like I said, been around and been experienced in these matters, and as a judge, you hear so many cases that you really do learn how to kind of tune out the emotional or the theatrical aspects that come with being a trial lawyer, a prosecutor might engage in, more in front of a jury than with a judge. But the monster aspect, I believe, was an attempt to probably dehumanize the mother. You know, it's very disconcerting to society to believe that a mother would engage in this type of behavior towards a child. And you may recall the Andrea Yates case out of Harris County, or, for example, the mother who dismembered the child's arms up in Collin County. Those cases shake our very beliefs, if you will, about maternal instincts and the true trust between a mother and a child. So I believe the monster term was an attempt to dehumanize the mother in this case, and to get Judge Mitchell to see her more as an inanimate object, if you will, than truly as a mother or a human being.
Well, she will be away from her children, Jocelyn and the other 4 children. She will not be eligible for parole until she is 53 years old. Judge Dan Wyde, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective tonight.
Thank you.